Hey everybody, I'm Rodney Elmer, and today we're going to cut a deer head in half. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're cutting yours, not mine. Let's get that mountain stand hooked down a little bit better. This is a deer that's about 20 years old. Mounted it a long time ago. And a million folks who come in the shop always ask me what it's like on the inside. Today we're going to take that chainsaw and have a look. Here we go. There it is. That sawed nice and easy.
I was not expecting that.
Look at how good that stayed glued down. Beautiful. Went right through that skull plate, no problem. And the wood that they build right into the mannequin to hold it up. I've been doing taxidermy for probably 40 years. I've never done that before. Styrofoam is like the wonder for taxidermy because it's so light and it's so easy to work with. In the old days, they used to have wood. They'd have cedar, sometimes pine on the inside of it. They'd take a big piece of the actual skull, clean the whole top of it off and set that inside of it. And of course, when you make a mount, the only thing that's really you're saving is the skull plate itself, the antlers of course, and then the outside hide. We take the cartilage out of the nose, take all the muscle and the meat and the fat that's all on the inside of that skin, and we basically take that whole thing and just turn it into leather with hair on it. That's basically what we're doing. Wherever there's gaps inside between the mannequin and the hide itself, you know, sometimes there'll be an air bubble in there, you know, where it won't hook down real solid, but we put hide paste to glue it down, and you can see all the places where it sticks really good. Of course, the chainsaw got into the threads right here, but you can see a piece of the skull plate. Inside the mannequin, they put a piece of plywood in there, and that plywood gives you something to hook the antlers to. And of course, the antlers have to be set in there the right way. There's some rules for doing that. Whenever you skin the deer itself, you cut between the antler burrs and you sew down the back of the neck some. In the old days, they used to go all the way, right through and open the entire cape up. Now I only go down to about here, and I just cut a hole just big enough so I could pull the skull out of the hole and skin the whole thing off. So the face is in a tube, and back here is in a tube, and the only seam I have is between here and here.
That's amazing.
The styrofoam itself makes it real light and it's easy to work with. So I can also sand it and make it fit the form, make the hide fit the form of the original deer a little bit closer. They also put a plywood backing on it. That's where you take your hanger and screw it right into the back of it, and it gives you something solid to hook to. Tremendous amount of insulation there between the deer, the wet leather, and then of course the foam, and that makes them real light, easy to work with. If they fall off the wall, they don't kill anybody like the old wooden ones used to. In general, every time I make a nose, I'll cut the nose completely off. I'll take a drill and I'll whittle out inside of his nostrils on each side of it and make a septum in the center, and then a little tiny bit of Sculptol to blend the hide where it goes inside the nose. We cut the lip line and we tuck the lip skin into the top and the bottom of it. We'll glue in a glass eye and then take the time to form it all around the outside edges. The leather, when it dries, wants to pull away from it a little bit, so we fill that right in. In the old days, they used wax. Now we have this stuff called Sculptol, and we put some of that in around it and then take an airbrush and paint it all so that it all blends together and looks nice. Inside of the ear, hey, there's something we can do. We can take the chainsaw. Let's cut right down inside the ear here and have a look at that. What I do is I put some Bondo inside of the ear. I'll skin the ear away from the back skin, away from the cartilage, and I'll turn it inside out like a giant sock all the way up through there. And I'll rough it up with a wire brush and stuff, and then I'll put a bunch of Bondo inside of it, and I even mix a little bit of fiberglass insulation into my Bondo so it's thicker, and it gives it like some reinforcement.
Eat your heart out, Julia Child.
And I'll squeeze it and make it all the shape I want. Now in the center is where you need to have a whisker thicker.
Say what now?
So that it'll keep it from folding as it dries. But once in about 5 minutes when that Bondo dries, and now the hide itself will hook to it, that creates like an instant ear liner, and it's called the Bondo ear method. And I'll take that and Bondo the normal part of the ear, and then down in the bottom in the ear butt, the base of it, I'll use critter clay. I'll put some critter clay down inside of that. That clay helps you shape the bottom of the ear butt and make it what it is. It's not real complicated, the stuff you need to make a deer mount. Good old hot glue, you can't go wrong with that. You may always need some of that. I buy a set of glass eyes to go with a mannequin that I've measured.
Glass eye.
Use your Sawzall maybe and cut and shape the skull plate so it fits in there good. I'll take the hot glue and glue an eyeball inside of the slot. I may make the tear duct just a little bit bigger and tuck that. Whittle out some holes in the nose and whittle along the lip line so I can tuck the skin in like you saw on the video there. I have a can of Bondos like 50, 60 bucks. Ordinary like Walmart, Joann's Fabrics kind of paint, a sharp knife, razor blades, a butter knife of some kind, dental instruments to help you do some of the tucking around the eyeballs and stuff. The hide paste is kind of cool. I've been using this Buckeye Hide Paste Supreme for a long time. It's almost like a knife grade, liquidy-ish kind of peanut butter kind of stuff. When you put it on the mannequin, I have a wire brush with hooks in it, a stout rougher. Oh, here it is right here. I'll use this. It has some really sharp hooks on it, and it will scratch and rough up the styrofoam, and then this glue can stick to the styrofoam and it can stick to the hide itself. Critter clay, this is just like an ordinary hardening clay that will harden up and probably, oh, if I left this out by tomorrow morning, it would be as hard as a rock.
It's as hard as a rock.
Just this soft kind of clay that I tuck in around the ear butts and glue all that right in, and it adds the muscle tone and everything that it used to be. When it's all dry and everything's worked out pretty good, I have all kinds of different pins, sheetrock screws, you know, ordinary stuff that you might need to hold everything while it dries from the outside in. Remember, you got wet leather and then the glue, so it's got to dry through the hair, through the leather, and through the glue from the outside in, so it might take a couple weeks to dry. This Magic Sculpt, buy it from Mackenzie. This stuff is just like awesome. And you mix it 50-50, so I'll take a little ball of it that's probably, you know, the size of a dime. I'll scoop some of that up, same thing, scoop the same amount up, and then I'll just take a little water and knead them together, and those will harden up in about 2 hours or so. And that lets me, you know, coat around the eyes and smooth inside of the nose skin and hook things together. This is wonderful for making it smooth and nice, real easy to work with. I even repaired the bass boat with that. Ordinary staplers, hammers, nails, tape. We'll probably do a few more videos in the future here. There's definitely a demand for it, that's for sure. I've never seen anything like it. I've just been swamped. Generally, we might do 200 to 250 to sometimes 300, 350 maybe on a real good year where everything's going good. You learn a lot about anatomy, and you have to have a lot of patience. It takes quite a few hours. We're probably 12 hours or so total, maybe in a deer head, you know, start to finish, getting everything squared away, and might be a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the time of year to dry. Pretty easy to do, and I think everybody ought to give it a try at least once. Thanks so much for liking and subscribing, and if you want to see more videos along these lines, especially stuff like this, taxidermy, or even some of our hunting, like the buck that Taylor just tried to get me cut in half. So what are we gonna do now?
You gotta find a spot to put them.
It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Hang it up.
That's an idea. Just came on to something right there. Oh. Looks great on my side.